The reason it's so important for me is to represent everybody looking directly at the viewer, is that you have the agency of who you are. When you are in front of a camera, you usually put on an attitude of that will present yourself in a good way. I'm Wen-ti Tsen. I'm basically a painter, but what I really do is being a community artist. As community artists, we are understanding the community and working with people that are rooted in the community and as a kind of affection for the community.
Chinatown became a place when there was nowhere else for Chinese immigrants to go. The community itself emerged by creating organizations and ways in which to support themselves.
So that's why it became very important to let the whole city know the importance of Chinatown as a community center for people of Greater Boston, that there was people here with a long history in the neighborhood who have a right to stay, and that should not be outpaced by the economy. This project, the idea was that to show the long history of how long people have been living in Chinatown. That's what I was working with the Chinese Historical Society to try to turn these images into kind of an art form that people can confront. The fantastic thing about Creative City is that it's actually the grant is given to the artist.
You know, one unique, I think, aspect of Creative Cities was this idea of having a partnership between a community organization and an artist.
She very nicely let me do my job. She just opened up her drawers and I looked through all her piles and piles of photos to select what I need.
Having someone like Wen-ti come in and really shed light on sort of the value and resource that the Historical Society had for the city. They're literally like coming out from the archives to say, I have a story, there's a legacy to my story that is relevant still today. Those two are actually very, very prominent leaders within Chinatown community. Actually, one of them is Caroline Chang, who's one of the co-founders of the Historical Society. She just passed away and has been sort of a light. And they grew up on Hudson Street, a street which represents so much history in terms of how Chinatown has been treated, but yet the resilience that the community has had when people, have risen up, taken leadership roles, banded together to create more resources for, the next wave of people coming. I would never have imagined something as amazing as this. I feel, you've built a whole arsenal in many ways to tell the story about Chinatown.
Yeah, I think it's very important for a community to have the historical sense of the continuity and a lot of struggle that behind it that was making what it is now.